Alright, you guys, I don't typically like to play like console favorites or anything like that. I don't really have a preferred way of gaming necessarily. But for this video, let me fanboy hard for PlayStation real quick because the rumors are coming through, some insider knowledge leaking, whatever you want to call it. But pretty much on the week of May 25th, we're most likely going to have a PlayStation showcase. Now, showcases are very different from state of plays. We typically get state of plays every like couple quarters or so. Versus showcases, it's been almost like a year and a half since we had our last showcase. And typically showcases primarily focus more on the big budget AAA first party Sony games, some of their big third party developer games that are working closely with Sony, and just overall their next kind of like quote unquote phase of a generation. Um, and with God of War Ragnarok kind of ending phase one of the PS5 generation slash the last generation of PS4, we're going full on into phase two. And the first game kicking that thing off for Sony, at least, like Sony first party, is going to be Spider-Man 2. So this showcase is going to primarily focus in on Spider-Man 2 and beyond, at least as far as Sony's first parties. They're also going to mention some third parties that they're working closely, etc., etc. Overall, I'm very excited. I'm very hyped. And I kind of just wanted to go over each individual studios that PlayStation has, what they'll be working on, what they won't be working on, as well as some expected third parties. But yeah, if you like the video, do me a favor and like the video, guys. Please consider subscribing. And without wasting any more time, let's get into this video. I do want to preface this. I am going to be going over pretty much majority of the studios. A couple of the studios that we're going to be leaving out are Santa Monica Studios because obviously they just came out with God of War Ragnarok. And we're also going to be leaving out Polyphony because they already released Gran Turismo 7. And I'm sure both of those studios are working hard on their next projects. We also won't really be mentioning Media Molecule because they just ended Dreams and announced that they started development on their next project. So I'm assuming it's still way too early to see what Media Molecule is going to be working on. And then if you guys haven't heard, Pixel Opus, which is kind of their like double A indie style studio, is actually disbanded. So those are the studios that we will not be talking about. I am going to kind of outline this video as far as things that we most definitely will see, and then we'll talk about things that we might see. So the first studio we're most definitely going to see something from is Insomniac. They have Spider-Man 2. This is probably one of the most highly anticipated games of the year, and we have seen virtually nothing about this game. All we know is that Peter Parker Spider-Man is here, Miles Morales Spider-Man is here, as well as Venom. And other than that, we don't really know too much actually about like the gameplay, what makes this so much different from the other Spider-Man games. And just overall, I expect to see some kind of gameplay from this, maybe some kind of story overview, just kind of some kind of trailer to kick off the next marketing cycle of Spider-Man 2. And then obviously I'm not like an insider or anything, so I can't say 100% Spider-Man 2 is going to be there, but it's just logically they have to start talking about Spider-Man 2. It comes out, the rumor is it's coming out in September, so the window to talk about this game is slowly shrinking. So pretty much it's time to start talking about Spider-Man 2. Something that is less likely, but I wouldn't leave it out of the realm of possibility, is Insomniac is also working on a Wolverine game. We only have like a 50-second trailer available right now, and I think if they could show us a little bit more, maybe some like in-game cinematic representation of gameplay, or even gameplay would be awesome, and like maybe like a release window like end 2024 or something like that. I don't know if that's for sure going to happen, just because obviously Insomniac is working really hard. But Insomniac is a development team that dishes out high quality games at rapid rates. And then if we're talking about chronological timeline orders, Final Fantasy 16 is the next like PlayStation exclusive game that's going to be releasing. It's coming out June 22nd. We've seen this game tons. I don't think we need any more information just because we had like a 20-minute gameplay trailer. We've had story overviews. We've seen a lot of this game. I don't think we need to see any more of this game. But if it is going to be in the showcase, because I think it'd be weird to kind of leave it out. If they do show one more thing, I'm hoping to give us a demo. A demo for Final Fantasy 16 would just make my day. Square Enix is really good when it comes to putting out demos for their games. Usually the demos kind of carry over into the main game. I don't know if Final Fantasy 16 is going to have a demo like that. I do remember when Final Fantasy 15 was coming out, they did have a demo where you'd play as Noctis in this kind of empty room that are just full of monsters, just to kind of get the gameplay down and the combat. And I'm really cool with that. If they just give us some kind of like boss fight or something, or some way to kind of test out how combat's gonna feel, that'd be really cool. But other than that, I don't really expect to see much more from Final Fantasy 16, just because we've seen so much. Another third-party developer working exclusively for PlayStation currently right now is Hideo Kojima Productions, working on the sequel to Death Stranding. They're also getting support from Guerrilla, who makes like the Horizon games and stuff like that. And this game was announced back in the Game Awards, and we haven't really had much more information since then. So I think now would be a good time to maybe announce a release window and then just show some kind of gameplay trailer, just because they only showed some cinematics. And the kind of rumor conversation is that this gameplay is going to be very different from the first Death Stranding, where Death Stranding was more of a walking simulator. People are hoping this is more like engaging and kind of lives up to more of what people expect from Hideo Kojima. But yeah, overall, I think we should get some kind of updates on Death Stranding too. We live in a weird time where I feel comfortable saying that a new Twisted Metal game is probably in the works. Is probably coming out soon. We have the show coming out on Peacock in July. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that they announce a Twisted Metal game in development, hopefully releasing sometime close to the Peacock show, but I doubt it just because it's so close by. But there is some rumors that the development team behind Destruction All-Star is working on a new Twisted Metal game. It's going to be maybe a live service Twisted Metal game. And we haven't really seen Twisted Metal since like 2012, back on the PS3. And I liked that game for what it was. The combat was really fun. The driving around and the weird abilities they had was awesome. I'm a huge fan of Twisted Metal, especially the Twisted Metal Black back on the PS2. So hopefully we can get some kind of new entry into the Twisted Metal franchise. And hopefully it's a little bit better than their last outing. Alright, so last year Konami announced Silent Hill 2 Remake coming exclusively to the PS5. And there is some rumors talking about how Konami is now in more negotiations with PlayStation about some more of their other IPs, primarily Metal Gear Solid. So the rumor is pretty much that Metal Gear Solid 3 is having a remake, and it's going to be exclusive to the Sony PlayStation 5. And maybe even Castlevania might be exclusive to the PlayStation 5. So again, with Konami's recent push back into gaming, I don't think it's too far-fetched to expect more details on Silent Hill 2. Maybe like a release date or window, most likely like the fall, probably aiming for October this year. That'd be a best time to release Silent Hill. And then probably like a teaser trailer of Metal Gear Solid 3, and hey, we can only hope, but maybe some kind of Castlevania announcement. That'd be awesome. And this will definitely cement Konami's return back to gaming. They don't have to come back as strong as they once were, but to allow their IPs to breathe again, I'm really glad to see. Alright, a game that I've been dying to see some more updates, maybe some gameplay or something, just something to keep me more fed, is Stellar Blade. This is a game being developed by a Korean game development studio known as Shift Up. PlayStation announced this game a couple years back at their last showcase. A couple state of plays back, they announced that it is going to be exclusive to PlayStation 5. So obviously Sony sees something in Stellar Blade that they know their fans are going to love. They know their consumers are going to like latch onto. And from the cinematics and everything that I've seen so far, I love this world. These characters just look super smooth. This looks very kind of like Platinum / Nier Automata kind of style with some weird ass aesthetic that I just love. And I feel like this is a game that no one's really hyping up just because it's a new IP. It's an unproven studio pretty much at this point, and we just don't have that much information. So I think now would be a good time to showcase some more information, give us an announcement date, or give us a release date, just because they said it's coming out sometime this year. Here's hoping they could hit that release date. And yeah, I'm just really excited to hopefully see some Stellar Blade. So that ends the segment of things that I feel for sure are going to be shown in the PlayStation Showcase. And now I kind of want to pivot to some other studios that we don't really know exactly what they're working on, or we have an idea, but no official announcement or anything concrete to go by. So from the rest of this video, it's just speculation. It's just to keep that in mind, you guys. I want to start things off real quick with Naughty Dog. They've been working on their like factions online live service style game, and I feel like people have just been wanting to see something about this, and I think now would be a good time for them to give us some kind of update, maybe an announcement as to when we'll see factions actually released. And I just wouldn't keep this out of the realm of possibilities. Alright, the next studio I want to talk about is Team Asobi. Team Asobi are the people who bring you like the Astro's Playroom. This is the last like real Japanese development team that Sony has. And after playing Astro's Playroom, that game was so fun. I feel like it's time that Sony allows them to kind of build up on this IP of Astrobot. I feel like he can be more of a mainstay. You can kind of use him into maybe a more actualized game that utilizes the technology, and like maybe give him a story, maybe give him something that's less of like a tech demo kind of thing. But I'll be very excited to see if Team Asobi is either working on some kind of new Astrobot Playrooms type game, or if they're working on like maybe a different kind of IP. But whatever it is that they're working on, you know it's going to be fun because this team is just creative as all heck. Alright, next we want to talk about Bend Studios. Back in like April 17th, Bend Studios tweeted out kind of like a hint that they're working on their next project, and that hopefully we'll be able to see something soon. That was about a month ago, so I think it's a good time for them to kind of show us what they're working on. We haven't seen anything from them since Days Gone back in 2019, so it's been a good 4 years. We do know that they pitched Days Gone 2, and Sony kind of rejected that. And then since then left to kind of like some kind of management change within Bend Studios. But it'd be really cool to see what game they're working on next. I wasn't really a fan of Days Gone, to be honest. So it'd be interesting to see what they could kind of develop specifically for the PS5. So we'll see what they have. Alright, let's talk about the genius minds at Bluepoint Studios. If you guys are unfamiliar with Bluepoint Studios, these are the creative remaster geniuses that worked on things like Shadow of Colossus, and most recently the Demon Souls remake for the PlayStation 5. They do amazing work. They kind of like realize and put better life into some of these old classic games that are like really synonymous with PlayStation. A big rumor is that Bluepoint has been working on like a Bloodborne remastered. Aside from that, they're probably also working on a new IP. So I think now would be a good time to see what they're working on. I think they've proved themselves enough technically that they know how to make games solid as all heck. So I think it's a good time to let them kind of breathe, let them make their own new IP. With that being said, I do like the idea of a remaster studio in PlayStation that's kind of keeping some of their legacy titles alive. And Bloodborne definitely is a fantastic game. I don't know if I want to see them make Bloodborne though. I want to kind of see them reach out, because I feel like they're really good at dipping their toes into kind of different kind of tonal games. So, hey, I'm throwing out, I want to see Infamous remake for the PlayStation 5. I think Bluepoint can kill it with this one if they get the opportunity to. But Bloodborne will also be cool, and definitely a new IP. They deserve to work on something wholly original out of their minds. Alright, now I'm going to group in a bunch of random studios kind of together. So PlayStation not that long ago acquired studios like Bungie, Haven, Firesprite, Firewalk Studios. 4 of these studios that are all working on kind of live service games. I know Bungie's working on a bunch of different titles for PlayStation. So I don't know which one we're going to be getting something from. I think maybe Firewalk is a little bit too early, as maybe it's Firesprite as well. But Bungie definitely has something they could show us. I know it. I see it in them. They want to give us something. And Haven Studios, I'm just really curious why they bought Haven Studios. And I want to see Haven Studios kind of live up to this kind of name that they've acquired without ever actually releasing a game. So I want to see what PlayStation is seeing behind the scenes that's making them so buyout worthy. But yeah, not saying for certain we're going to see something from all these studios, but definitely something out of at least one, maybe 2 of these studios. One of the, I think, lesser known studios underneath PlayStation's belt is London Studios. They primarily make really innovative things in like VR and stuff like that. So with their whole push with PSVR 2, I feel like it's good time that we see something from London Studios. I know on their website it says they're working on an unannounced game that's going to be like an online multiplayer. I don't know if that's VR or not, but I mean, that pretty much VR is their wheelhouse, so I wouldn't expect to see them stray too far away from that. Alright, Sony has tons of big boy studios underneath their belt, from Insomniac to Naughty Dog to Polyphony. Tons of great, amazing studios. And I think Suckerpunch is among some of the best in PlayStation. Everything from the infamous series to Ghost of Tsushima. Great stuff that Suckerpunch always comes out with. And I feel like we've been rumored that a Ghost of Tsushima 2 is coming out. And I feel like this would be a great time to kind of announce Ghost of Tsushima 2. Kind of showcase some of Sucker Punch's new power within the PS5. And I'm just all out excited to see what Sucker Punch can deliver for us. But yeah, that's all I got as far as what I expect to see out of a Sony showcase. What I kind of want to see and what maybe might not be so likely, but that hopefully we can. All in all, I think PlayStation showcases are really fun because they're very cinematic. They're very like grandeur, and they feel kind of like large in scale. And they always kind of like map out a good like couple years in advance to kind of just show you what to expect. And I'm just really excited to see finally the PlayStation 5 get some real exclusives from some first party Sony developers. Because don't get me wrong, God of War Ragnarok, amazing. Horizon Forbidden West, all those games were great. But they're PS4/PS5 games. And now it is a good time to show everybody why they bought the PS5. Why we're excited to be a part of this ecosystem. And again, I'm just really excited to see what Sony has cooking for us. But yeah, I'm going to end the video with that. Let me know down below, you guys, if there's anything that you want to see specifically from PlayStation, whether it be first party or third party. And with that, I'll see you guys on the next video.